Hey, what's going on, guys, and welcome back to the Will of Sports Network. My name is Luke, and today we're doing my MLB predictions. This is a little late because I had a lot of work to do yesterday, so we're gonna get this shit out now. We're gonna start off with Baltimore. 101 last year, shocked everybody. We're gonna go 99 this year. Baltimore, they had one thing. They needed starting pitching, so, the best thing to do was to go out and trade for a Cy Young candidate. That's what they did. I think this is, I don't know if it's the most improved team in the AL East, but probably is. Because they didn't lose much. I mean, like Kyle Gibson and like Aaron Hicks, Adam Frazier. Those are just whatever guys, kind of more rotational guys. But it's just more competitive. I bet the Yankees are going to be way better. Tampa should be better. Maybe they should be better. I think the AL West is probably better. It's just a more competitive league, or more competitive AL, so that's why I have Baltimore dropping. I think Baltimore did get better, though. Next, we got the Yankees. Who else is going on my phone again? Yankees, they needed a lot of stuff. They really did. Third base, they needed outfield. They needed any lefties starting pitching. So what do you do? You go out and you trade for the best young outfielder in baseball, similar to Orioles, just make a big ass power move, and they grab Han Soto. Do they trade most of their pitching? Yeah, but I mean, the real big MLB loss is Michael King, which sucks. That's like their best reliever, but they get Loizaga back. Hopefully, he's healthy. But they needed hitting more than pitching. They were number one in ERA for relief, number five in WHIP. It's starting pitching for they were really more middle of the table in starting pitching, and then hitting they were atrocious. So Juan Soto, Alex Verdugo, obviously that's gonna help. That helps the outfield. Don't really have a third baseman right now. They have John Birdie starting. I'm at speed. That's fine. But they also get Marcus Stroman. But the real problem is Garrett Cole being out for like what 2 months. That's obviously he carried the rotation, and now you need to rely on Carlos Rodon to step up, which he's pitched okay in spring. I think he started off terribly and then kind of came back, but I really wanted, as a Yankee fan, I really wanted the Yankees to make a big starting pitching move like Bauer or Montgomery or Snell. They could still get Bauer. He did pitch in front of them, and he could like 4 runs, 0 ERA. So I think the Yankees still could get him, but even then, he wouldn't be ready in for like a while. Next up, Tampa. Again, it's what they Rays always do: have a terrible offseason, then bullshit their way to 87 plus wins, and then do this. So and then what? They started 13-0. Was that? I don't even remember. Was that last year? I'm pretty sure it was last year. It feels like forever ago. But I originally had them higher, and I kind of like it's a really bad offseason. I mean, you lose your best pitcher in Tyler Glasnow. Get some relief depth, but it's like depth. They just got depth. I mean, Rays ranked high in everything because they just fell off so hard. Start of the year, they were just easily the best team in baseball. But the Rays find a way. I mean, I see a lot of people predicting them to win like 77 games. You're just never gonna do that again. Not under this management, not under all of this. They just bullshit their way to wins, and that's what they're doing. In Toronto also had it was a bad offseason. I mean, they've had so many good offseasons the past few years to get here, and I think in this situation, I have them missing the playoffs to the Rays, 85 and 77. Justin Turner and Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, your best acquisitions. It's not good. You lose Matt Chapman, Brandon Bell, Whit Merrifield, are three infield bats, and for like a mid-tier, I'd say like a top 10-ish offense. That's what they had. So they really needed to step up their offense. Their pitching was really good last year, but they needed to step up their offense, and they did the exact opposite and lost all their offensive players. Red Sox. I mean, a weird offseason. Like Giolito, Tyler O'Neill are cool. Vaughn Grissom is actually, I think, a really good future acquisition, even though he kind of played terribly last year. But like Chris Sale, Alex Verdugo, Adam Duvall, all out the door. Their pitching sucked last year. Was ranked in the 20s. Their batting is pretty good, and I think their lineup should be pretty good this year. But the rotation is just gonna get them, and I don't think anybody expects the Red Sox to win over 79 games. Next, we'll go to the Central. We'll do a little reveal here. We're gonna go to Minnesota. I mean, I only have them at 87 wins because of their division sucks. Last year their pitching was great, and what do? You lose your Cy Young candidate. And they got Manuel Margot, Carlos Santana, lost traded Jorge Polanco to the Mariners. So it wasn't a great hitting core last year. Most that I mean up and down. I'm looking at all the 7 in OPS, 21st in average, on base percentage, 12 home runs, 3 something. So it was a good hitting core. Average was bad, good hitting core. Pitching was elite, top 3 in the league. The bullpen, middle of the pack, but they needed bullpen out. They needed a Sonny Gray replacement, and they didn't get it. But I just can't have them like I said. They're the best team in the division. I know a lot of people love Detroit. I think Detroit has a chance, but I think the Twins are going to win the division. So yeah, I don't know if they're going to really win it at lower, or any division winner is going to win it at like lower than 85. So we'll go 87. Tigers had a nice offseason. Got bats. They got starting pitching. If Jack Flaherty returns to anything, then obviously that's great. Anything like he was before all the injuries. I mean, they besides just Eduardo Rodriguez are really returning their young roster. I think Torque could take that big step up, but their pitching was okay last year. Hitting was atrocious, but they're young. It's a young team with a chance to rise. So this could be a 73 win team. This could be an 84 win team. We'll go in the middle and put 79. Cleveland shitty offseason. Really, just nothing happened. They really didn't do anything. I mean, they were bottom. I'd say bottom middle, more in the 20s, and really everything. There nothing stood out. Man, relief pitching was decent, but in reality, it's just not a good team. That's really all I can say. It's a boring Cleveland team that's going to win like 65 to 73 games. Maybe them in Detroit are I'm talking about Kansas City now, are like the most I don't want to say overhyped. I don't want to shit on them, but kind of overhyped teams. I mean, the Royals were dead last in a lot, not dead last, but near dead last in a lot of things. But they get 2 starting pitchers in Seth Lugo and Michael Wacha. They're young. Bobby Witt was 5th in MVP. Yeah, a young team should step up. I don't think they're going to step up to a 500 team. I saw some people having them at like 80, but I think they can step up a little bit and get some wins. This may be low. 64 may be low. I think they could jump up into the low 70s maybe, but I don't know. I'm still not ready to put the Royals that high. Chicago, who cares? They didn't do anything. They just lost their 2 best starting pitchers. That's about it. And they were already one of the worst teams in baseball. So again, there's just really nothing to say. Did they get anybody? They got Eric Fetty, Martin Maldonado. They're gonna blow up by the deadline. It's definitely gonna happen. I'm gonna have the Astros over the Rangers because the Astros went and spent money. They lost some relief pitching. Sorry. So what do? You get the top 3 closer in the game, pay him top 1, top 2 closer money. I don't know if he got as much as Edwin Diaz. I think Hader did. Maldonado replacement and Victor Caratini. They didn't acquire a lot, but they also didn't really lose a lot. And again, a top 5 offense. Starting pitching was actually ranked lower than I thought. Most things are in the low teens. And then relief pitching was good, and now it's going to be like one of the best cores in baseball. So it's kind of, I don't know, Texas or Houston, it's kind of a coin flip, but I'm going to go Houston. Texas didn't do much. I mean, losing Jordan Montgomery sucks. Lost some hitting depth. Lost pitching depth were replaced. They actually replaced their bullpen pretty well. David Robertson, Kirby Yates. Lorenzen is okay replacement for Montgomery, but that meant the reigning World Series champions, I don't think they're going to lose like anything lower than 93 games. Seattle lost a lot. Seattle did a lot. Actually, I thought they lost more than they did. They got Garver. They got Polanco. Their hitting core was terrible, so, they address the hitting core, but they lose Teoscar Hernandez. They lose one of their outfield. So I thought the Mariners did a lot more. And I'm looking this up as I go. I don't remember everything. pitching was amazing. Top 5 pitching core for both. And you know what? They traded Robbie Ray. Robbie Ray didn't play, so they did a lot, but a lot of it doesn't really show up on the stats because like a guy like Robbie Ray just didn't even play last year. Next we got Angels. You suck anyway, and then you lose Shohei Ohtani. That's really it. I don't know. There's nothing to say about them. They constant 70-win team loses the best player in the league. It's gonna. I don't even know what I'm still talking about. Oakland. Who cares? They're the worst team in baseball. They're dead last in. Honestly, dead last in everything. Hitting, pitching, relief. J.D. Davis is your best acquisition. That's cool. Some starting pitching, some like Ross Stripling, some veteran starting pitching, but it's Oakland. Oh, we'll go on to the NL, which I don't know if Mets fans are going to be happy about it. But we'll start off with Atlanta. Starting pitching, get yourself. Not front end, but like middle of the road chasing Chris Sale. Kelenic, beginning of the year Kelenic is a crazy acquisition. End of the year Kelenic is a whatever acquisition. So whatever Jared Kelenic they get. But hitting was unbelievable. Average 1, on base percentage 1, OPS 1, runs 1, home runs 1. Yeah. Pitching wasn't as good. It ended up being more in the late teens for starting pitching and more in the high, like more top 10 in relief. So you get Chris Sale and Ronaldo Lopez can start here and there. So they not like a crazy offseason for Atlanta, but they were definitely the best team in the league last year. I don't care what the Phillies did to them, and I think they're just gonna run it back if they're healthy. Next, Phillies. You lose Rhys Hoskins, but he didn't even play. No key acquisitions. Wow, who did they even get? No, I don't know. Now I don't remember. I know they also lost Lorenzen, Kimbrel, but Phillies are really talented. Obviously, it's just what they're gonna do. Who did they get? I don't remember. But so I'm still gonna put the Phillies as a 90-win team. It just feels like with this core, what they're gonna be every year. Now, probably actually the worst offseason in MLB, definitely the worst offseason in MLB is Miami Marlins. Soler out, Robertson out, Hampson out. You get Betancourt. Christian Betancourt is your best acquisition. Probably, definitely overplayed what they were. I mean, top 10-ish starting pitching core, relief core was in the 20s. Hitting core was... Besides average, everything sucks, and who gives a shit about average? So they were really like a late teens hitting core. And you lose Sandy. Sandy wasn't great last year, but you lose your Cy Young pitcher, which, nobody wants to do. So probably a worse offseason. So why do I have them go to the Mets? Because the Mets didn't do much better. Not much better at all. Sean Manaea. And, J.D. Martinez is a good acquisition. Luis Severino sucks. God, I love how Mets fans are going to have to watch him pitch. Watch him just become really good. But you have Verlander, Scherzer. They've contributed, obviously, for over half the season last year. Those guys are out. It's a big deal. You lose some hitting core. But the Mets sucked last year. I mean, barely top 20. Like early 20s bullpen. Starting pitching was like top 15, and now that's gone. Hitting core was in the late 20s. Or not early 20s, sorry. Late teens, or 18th in OPS. So they were just not good all around, and they don't get any hitting. Or J.D. Martinez to get. Sean Manaea is not a replacement for Verlander and Scherzer. Kodai Senga cannot carry that pitching core. And then obviously they're going to get Edwin Diaz back, so the bullpen should be back to a really good level. Out of all the teams that are like the Royals, the Tigers, well, not actually, no, I guess not the Tigers, but the Royals and everything, Pirates, I think the Nationals need a little more love. They played really well at times last year. Some of that's due to Jamer. Jamer's gone. They get some pitching. Like Joey Gallo can do stuff at times. They weren't great, but I feel like the Nationals have a chance to play themselves into the 70 wins. Because I like their young core. If a lot of their guys should be getting called up from the Juan Soto trade, this could be like a really fun young Nationals team that can play their way to winning 70 games or something. NL Central, I don't think a lot of people are on the Cubs bandwagon, but I am certainly on the Cubs bandwagon. The only thing they had to do, or the big thing they had to do, was retain Cody Bellinger, and they did that. The Cubs were one error away from non-error away from making it, and they go out and they have a really good offseason. I mean, Jamer goes. Jamer goes to the Reds. They lose Marcus Stroman. That's one of your better hitters, one of your better starting pitching. You get Shota Imanaga, who we'll see how like some of these Japanese guys translate. Like Yamamoto has sucked so far, so we'll see. Hector Neris put up really good numbers last year, so that could be not. I don't know who the Cubs like fully closer is, but he'll just be a relief pitcher for you. And this was a top 15 hitting core, top 10 hitting core, who keeps their top 3 hitter in Cody Bellinger. Starting pitching was top 15, relief pitching top 15. I think they're just better than the rest of the division. 91 may be a little high for wins, but I just think they're just a better team than everybody else in their division. Milwaukee, what did Milwaukee do? They got Rhys Hoskins, who we'll see how he plays. Some low-end relieving, but they traded away their best pitcher. And they lost a lot of their hitting depth, and they had no hitting to begin with. They're 23rd in OPS. It's like a top 20, low 20s hitting core. They're starting pitching and their relief pitching, obviously, where you get it, and now you lose your starting pitching. So, yeah, I expect the Brewers to go down, and I actually have them in this situation as a 7 seed, so out of the playoffs. Cincinnati, they just lost Matt McClain for a certain amount of time. This just happened yesterday, so it's not really reported. Jamer's a crazy good acquisition. I think he got not a lot of money. Lost no one. Obviously, they lost Joey Votto, but needed starting pitching. You get Frankie Montas, who knows he can play. If he can play, he can play. If he's healthy. I think a lot of his health or issues with the Yankees were based on health. He got crazy money though, like $14 million. It's definitely not worth it. But if he plays at a decent level and this young pitching core plays, I think they could jump the Brewers and maybe get a playoff spot over one of the NL West teams who's going to be the Giants. I'll just say the Giants is a 6 seed. But for now, we'll go 83. Losing one of your best hitters this close to the regular season sucks. Milwaukee or Pittsburgh is they get Chapman, which Chapman's gonna not rake. That's definitely not the right word. He's gonna throw heaters and then he's gonna leave, get traded and win a World Series. It's just gonna happen again. It's gonna be an infinite cycle. O'Neal Cruz didn't play did he even play a game in May, and then not even the rest of the year. So you get O'Neal Cruz back, which is sick. Young team. I don't know if Bednar makes it throughout the year, though. I don't know if the Pirates are just that ready for that step up to a 80-win team. But 75, I think, would be cool for them. And would we say St. Louis is the biggest disappointment last year? Probably. Protected mid-90-win teams, they get in the high 60s. And starting pitching, they went crazy. I mean, they lost. They had to trade away a lot of guys at the deadline. Jordan Hicks, Jordan Montgomery. Jordans are gone. But you get top 3 Cy Young voter in Sonny Gray. Lance Lynn has played a much better with the Dodgers than the White Sox. I assume he'd probably do the same thing in St. Louis. Kyle Gibson, was pretty good. And you had a top 5 worst pitching core in top 5 worst pitching core in baseball last year, and they did exactly what they needed to do. Still needed bullpen depth. Didn't really do a good job at that. So I'm not fully trusted in the Cardinals are gonna make a jump from a 60-win team back to an 80+ win team and win the division. So maybe last is a little harsh, but they were so bad last year. I know they got their starting pitching, but I just don't know how good they actually still are. Next, NL Dodgers are obviously gonna be the number 1 this offseason. Number 1 offseason, number 1 everything. I really don't think there's any way to not say the Dodgers are the best team in baseball. Obviously, when you get what Shohei Yamamoto and Glasnow. That's just a starting pitching core, and which was definitely probably was worse than they actually were in terms of statistics. 20th in ERA, but 7s in walks, 8th in hits, and 7th in whip. Gave up a lot of homers and strikeouts, though, so that could be definitely limited. Relief pitching was top 3 in the league. Hitting core already top 10 in the league. They got Tyler and Teoscar Hernandez, too. But, like, yeah, there's just no way. If you're saying the Dodgers aren't the number 1 team in the league, you're lying to yourself. Arizona had a crazy good offseason too. They're close to the Dodgers. Jock Peterson for the hitting core, Eugenio Suarez for the hitting core, Jordan Montgomery and Eduardo Rodriguez as well for the pitching core. The pitching core is insane now. That's Jordan Montgomery, Eduardo Rodriguez, Zach Gallen, top 3. It's electric. Didn't lose a lot. Tommy Pham was really helpful at the end of the year, and especially for the World Series run. But usually I'm not like, oh, they made a good run to the World Series, let's give them a division winner. Like, no, a lot of runs, and then the next year, I don't say they fold out, but, like, they're just not, like, what they were projected to be. But the Diamondbacks went crazy. Definitely outperformed. Even the 84 wins outperformed last year, but I think their offseason was way too good. Super young team. I think Corbin Carroll may be, like, my pick to win MVP going into the year. Yeah, let's do it. Let's say Corbin Carroll's my pick to win MVP. Oh, just Shohei. No, Shohei's not pitching, so Corbin Carroll. But they were very mid in pitching, very mid in hitting. They were like really late teens or mid teens in everything. So they definitely they definitely overperformed last year. But I think the offseason is just too crazy to have them anything less than like a playoff team. In this situation, they'll be the 5th seed. Giants finally broke through. The NL West went crazy, didn't they? Blake Snell, Matt Chapman, Jung-Hoo Lee. Yeah, they finally broke through and got $100 million guy. Snell's $100 million guy, even though he didn't get $100 mil. Matt Chapman's not $100 million guy, but a really good player. Didn't lose a lot, and looking at good relief core, like probably early teens, top 10 pitching core, starting pitching core, and you add to that with Blake Snell. Now you got top 5 1-2 punch with Snell and Webb. Hitting core sucked, and Matt Chapman, I don't know how much he helps with that hitting core, but Jung-Hoo Lee definitely should help with that hitting core. Again, how will like these players from Asia translate in their first year is kind of like, you know, it is a mystery. They hate to say it, but a lot of times, like, it takes them a couple years to develop. Padres lose Juan Soto, lose Blake Snell, and you literally lost your best pitcher, your best hitter, and your best relief pitcher. And what do? You got Michael King, who I think is going to start. You go to Asia, you got Yuki Matsui, who I think played pretty decently in the Seoul series. And then you go and trade for Dylan Cease. So, like, number 1 or, like, top 5 starting pitching core last year. Again, you lose your number 1 starter. Top 10 relieving core. And hitting core wasn't... So, you know, hitting core was top 15. They underperformed what their statistics... Like, what they were statistically. Like, winning 79 games or something like that. But you lose Juan Soto, you're going to get worse every single time. And finally, the least... Not even the least. Somehow the Rockies aren't the least relevant team in the league right now. Cal Quantrill, it's pretty cool. I love looking at these statistics. Last in ERA, WHIP, Ks per 9, hits per 9, home runs per 9. They didn't give up a lot of walks. Last in ERA, WHIP, Ks per 9, hits per 9, and 28th in walks per 9 for their release. Yeah, their pitching core, I know it's cores, but it sucks. They got an F grade on this site too. Man, I mean, there's not much to talk about for the Rockies, but we'll talk about it. So in this, Orioles are the 1, Astros 2, Twins 3, and then Rangers 4, Yankees 5, Rays 6, and then I had the Orioles coming out of the American League. Last year was a test. I think they can do it. I think really it'll come down to the Orioles, Astros, Rangers, and maybe the Yankees if the Yankees can get right. or like it depends how like the Yankees played so bad last year. But like obviously, if the Yankees get right, the Yankees are the Yankees, and Cole gets healthy like in 2 months or in 1 month. If it gets extended, then the Yankees may be screwed. Uh, Here we got Dodgers, Rays, Cubs as the 1, 2, 3. Phillies, Diamondbacks, Giants is 4, 5, 6. I'm gonna have the Dodgers coming out of that, and then the Dodgers beating the Orioles because the Dodgers are gonna. I just don't see a situation where. Well, of course, it's baseball. I see a situation where the Dodgers don't win the World Series, but they don't. It's gonna be one of the most disappointing seasons, if not the most disappointing season in MLB history. Y'all, thank you for letting me yap to y'all for like 20 plus minutes about this. I know it's not like the big production, like a cool little thing. It's just me talking. Thank you all for listening.